The system ordered me to win over the heroine, who had mind-reading powers from childhood. She would grow into a ruthless, cold-hearted, gloomy, isolated girl with a dangerously obsessive nature. I thought for a moment, then chose to enter the world when she was 1. The system nearly blacked out. Starting today, I will become her guardian. I will teach her the law and make sure she follows it, to respect others, to stay positive, and to be a good person without changing expression. I said, the best way to win someone over starts with education. The system was convinced. You are right. So, on a day of driving snow, I picked up 1-year-old Qinghan, the heroine abandoned at the hospital. 6 years later, at the orphanage I ran, she asked in her sweet little voice, "Director, what does winning someone over mean?" I patted her head. "It means, I want you to feel this world's kindness and love." 7-year-old Qinghan's eyes sparkled. She spun around in delight. "I love you too, Director." Around her, the heroine's future subordinates, partners, sworn enemy, and first love all crowded around me, chattering. I love the director most. The heroine's affection level has reached maximum. Host, mission complete. It can be done like this. After I died suddenly from overwork, I was forcibly bound to the system and took on a mission to win someone over. The system sent me the original story. I looked at the refined, cold girl in the file and fell into thought. She was being trampled underfoot, her body covered in wounds. Her eyes were filled with a dull, inorganic grayness. So indifferent she seemed detached from the whole world. The system said mechanically, once you enter this world, you can take her home, but she is working outside and suffering constant abuse. She may not trust you. So, you need to win her over with love. Also, she has a childhood friend. He is the cherished love she has never forgotten. According to our analysis, after she reunites with him, the two of you will have a misunderstanding. I interrupted it. How old is she? She looks barely more than a teenager. It lagged for a moment. This photograph was taken when she was 14. Then why is she working outside? I frowned. Should she not be in school at that age? She has no money. She dropped out. Compulsory education lasts 9 years. The orphanage should cover her school expenses too. I pointed out the problem. The orphanage she entered was not properly run. The system was thrown off. Is that so? It seems this region's system is inadequate as well. I considered it for a moment. Send me into that world. I already know what to do. The system perked up. Then which point in time will you choose? When she is 14 and customers insult her? Or when she is 18 and unconscious in an alley? Or when she is 23? Obviously, when she was 1. I said. Qinghan had been frail and sickly from birth. Her father was unknown, and her mother died in childbirth. When she was 1, her distant relatives abandoned her at a hospital entrance. It was the dead of winter, with heavy snow falling. Qinghan developed a high fever, then lost part of her hearing. Yet she possessed the heroine's cheat ability, mind reading. From that day on, her world was silent, yet malice rushed at her from every side. Standing outside the hospital, I looked at the baby sleeping soundly in my arms and said without hesitation, if I am meant to win her over, you should give me some cheap perks. Money, for example. Otherwise, the heroine will starve to death. Can we really do this? After granting me those advantages, the system sounded uneasy. It was the 13th time it had asked, why not let me send you 10 years into the future? You cannot be such a creep, I said, wagging a finger. I am 23 now. As for winning someone over, 1 year old is acceptable. At 11, absolutely not. Bathed in the radiance of justice and law, the system was dazed and left speechless. Come on, I said. There is a lot to do. For example, I need to find out what qualifications it takes to inherit an orphanage. The Boai orphanage where Qinghan stayed was horribly mismanaged, but that was fine. I could straighten it out. I wrapped the baby's swaddling clothes a little tighter and carried her into the hospital. I hoped it was not too late, that her hearing could still be saved. The system made identification documents from me. I first took Qinghan to the hospital for tests and treatment, then went to take over the seemingly run-down Boai orphanage. The orphanage had been shut down for years. There were no children and no caregivers. Only this year had it been placed under temporary management. Everything was chaos, and everything needed rebuilding. My previous job had been at an orphanage. I knew every procedure inside out, and I had the system's help. Qinghan was an abandoned infant. After the hospital referred her case to the police, with a few arrangements on my part, I adopted Qinghan. She entered the Boai orphanage as its only child, just as the original story had gone. But this time, I was the orphanage director. While caring for Qinghan, I rebuilt the entire orphanage. I steadily improved its basic facilities. Everything went very smoothly. The system was deeply shocked because Qinghan's affection for me kept rising. It already reached 80 points. I was not surprised. The person a young child feels closest to will naturally be the one caring for her every day. Though Qinghan did not yet understand love, she had learned to stretch out her arms whenever I went to pick her up, then give me a goofy little smile. Whenever that happened, the system would mutter to itself, "How is this possible? Can it really work like this?" I ignored its bewilderment, looking up at the newly transformed orphanage before me. I said with satisfaction, "Not bad. Things are moving efficiently. I wonder whether there are suitable schools nearby." I checked the local policies. An orphanage could have its own school, but the Boai orphanage clearly did not qualify yet. I would have to work harder. The system did not understand, so it stayed silent because she had reached the hospital in time, and because I took good care of her. Qinghan grew very healthy. By age 3, she could run and jump and call me director in her sweet little voice. Little Qinghan asked me, "Director, what does my name mean?" Holding her, I told her, "The day you came into this world, it happened to snow. The world was clear and cold, and your mother happened to love plum blossoms that bloom alone in the bitter cold. She was still too young to understand death or separation, but I did not want to erase the origin of her name." Qinghan only half understood. "My name is the winter flower mommy liked." "Mommy liked me too." "Yes." I patted her head. "She loved you very much." That made her happy. Her goofy smile appeared again. The day I taught Qinghan to write her name, I asked the system, "There are different kinds of systems, right?" The system was stumped. It gave the question serious thought. "I do not know, but we are all systems designed to win people over." I caught the implication. "You have co-workers?" "Yes, but I do not have a name." "Do they all have names?" "They all named themselves." The system said blankly. "A good friend I knew was named Xiaoji. There were also Xiaojing, Xiaoyi, and Xiaoxi." "Then why do you not do as they did and give yourself a name?" The system hesitated for a few seconds, but some co-workers said systems who named themselves were neglecting their duties. After naming themselves, they went off to do other things. You can do other things too. For example, help me run this orphanage well. But I would still be on my mission. So it would not be neglecting your duties, would it not? The system seemed excited. "Can I give myself a name too?" "Of course. What would you like to be called?" I asked gently. "Then I'll help you run the orphanage. I want to be called Xiaofu." I thought it over. Xiaofu. That sounds nice. It went quiet for a long while. I guessed it had gone to share its joy with its friends. The day the orphanage officially reopened, Qinghan and I welcomed the new children. I looked through their files, perhaps because of the story's pull. Qinghan's childhood friend, who would become the love she never forgot and ran, had come too. His parents had both died in a car accident. Afterward, he was sent to the orphanage. At 8, his adoptive parents moved abroad with him. The story did not dwell on that part, but for Ran to go from a sweet, obedient little boy into the classic vicious male antagonist he later became, his years abroad could not have been happy. I investigated carefully and found that the adoptive couple simply had not met the adoption requirements. It was another failure of the orphanage's procedures. So, seeing the timid little boy before me, I crouched down and gently stroked his head. "Be good, Xiao Ran. This is your home now." He looked at me in confusion, perhaps because my gaze was so patient. The sensitive child sensed not a trace of malice. Carefully, he held out his chubby little hand and clasped one of my fingers. Tear tracks still marked the cute, fair little boy's face, but he obediently let me hold him. Eating the candy I gave him, he showed his first smile that day. In a tiny voice, he tried calling me director. Qinghan, meanwhile, wore a solemn little face. A little nervous, she showed the new children around. I had assigned her this task very seriously. She took it quite seriously too. With the air of a responsible older child, she darted among the new children. One moment, she comforted one child, telling them not to cry. The next, she gave another a piece of candy. Then she clenched her tiny fist and swore this place was absolutely the best orphanage. I could not help but smile. That afternoon, I put the children down for their nap. Qinghan was too excited to sleep. She even whispered to me, "Director, of the children who came today, I like Lu Heng the most. He is so cool." Is that so? Why did the name Lu Heng sound familiar? Looking at the birthmark on little Lu Heng's face, I finally remembered. Was this not Qinghan's future archenemy, the gang boss Lu Heng? It seemed legal education needed to be added to the curriculum. At the moment, Lu Heng looked very timid. He kept his head down and rarely spoke. Because of the large birthmark on his face, as well as his congenital intellectual disability, his own parents had abandoned him. Abandonment is a crime. Seeing Lu Heng's hurt, insecure expression, I brought Qinghan over. She must have heard my thoughts. Looking like she might cry, she said sadly, "Director, did Lu Heng's mommy and daddy not want him?" Qinghan, who could read minds, never hid that fact from me. But we had made a pinky promise. It was our secret alone. So I answered seriously, "What his mommy and Daddy did was wrong, they would be arrested for it. Qinghan only half understood. I want to be his friend, then take him to play in the garden. Did you not tell me last time that you wanted to ride the seesaw with a friend? Qinghan's eyes lit up, but she quickly drooped again. But it is nap time. It is all right. This is a special exception. I patted her head. Qinghan, from now on, we are all Lu Heng's family. I want Lu Heng to be happy again. Can you do that? Qinghan brimmed with energy. I can. I opened the garden gate and waved them through. The two small figures cheered softly as they ran toward the sunlit seesaw. I returned to the dormitory. Just as expected, little heads all lowered. I could not hold back a smile. None of you can sleep. Not a sound. Only Ran looked up. He pointed to the garden outside the window and said in his sweet little voice, I want to play with Director. Then let us all go play in the garden. I said with a smile, but it is nap time. No more exceptions, okay? Okay. The children, once stiff and anxious, instantly brightened. They answered together. Then, like happy little birds, flew toward the garden. I leisurely followed behind them, chatting with Xiao. Why do they all like you so much? Host, I have never seen mission progress this fast. Do you know a story? I thought for a moment. A demon sealed inside a bottle once promised that if anyone freed him, he would grant that person boundless power and wealth. Yet, when he was found years later, he resented the fisherman who freed him instead, believing the fisherman had come too late. That story is in my database. Love works the same way. My tone was calm. At its core, winning someone over is an exchange. You give love and receive love. But if they have never received love since childhood, what do you think false and pure love could ever win? So if I had appeared when she was 15 or 16, in Qinghan's heart, I could never surpass Xiao, who had grown up alongside her. Was that why? To win her over. You chose to enter the world when she was 1, host? Not entirely. Smiling, I picked up a child who ran toward me and patted his head. I only want to tell you one thing. What is it? The phrase winning someone over is too broad. I said, there are many kinds of love in this world. Teaching them that also counts as winning them over. Host, you really are different from everyone else I have met. How many people have you even met? To me, you are just a child too. Holding the little boy, I sat on the swing. Perhaps your assessments showed that winning people over used to be my job, which is why you chose me. What was your job before? Xiao sounded puzzled. But so many people loved you before too. Did they? I paused, then gave a quiet laugh. I used to work in special education. I was undeniably the oddball of the Li family. My siblings all had grand ambitions. They either took over the company or shone in the arts. Only I threw myself into a small county town. After volunteering as a teacher there for several years, I returned and taught at a special school. In the end, I simply opened an orphanage of my own. Most orphans had complex health needs. They often had physical disabilities or psychological struggles. At first, whenever my family came to see me, the marks and scratches on me always frightened them. More than once, they asked me, Li Chuan, have you lost your mind? Outsiders understood even less. The Li children had lived privileged lives since birth. So, why had the family produced a Li Chuan with not a trace of aristocratic bearing from head to toe? But in every life, there are 1 or 2 things that change a person completely. I have no wish to judge what is noble and what is vulgar, nor to use lofty-sounding words to prove how exceptional I am. In truth, I am merely one person among countless ordinary people. I simply happened to choose this path, so I paid no mind to their doubts and mockery. I just smiled faintly. Like all of you, I am doing what I want to do. Xiao asked, then what was the thing that changed you completely? Who knows? My childhood memories are all very hazy, but there must have been something like that. Actually, I do remember. I remember my school once held a charity event. We wore little suits and puffy dresses and took gifts to the special school next door. But that day, we did not see a single student from the special school. I heard their teachers say they were afraid the students might hurt us, so they had locked them in their dorm rooms. We set books and clothes on their desks and chairs. After taking a few pictures, we were about to leave. I saw a book lying on one desk. It was a fairy tale book. A crooked line was written inside. Xiao asked what stars look like. I want to know too. Do they taste good? In that fairy tale, the stars in the sky were all candies. Could Xiao not see the stars? And the owner of that book, had he never eaten candy? I looked down at my fine little suit and struggled to pull a piece of candy from my pocket. Quietly, I slipped it into the book. Before leaving, I glanced at the dormitory building. I saw several dirty little children crowded at the window, watching us. Suddenly, I felt a little sad. I had brought only one piece of candy and left only one. Only one child could taste a star. I spent the next week working nonstop. The new children brought life to the small patch of land. They also brought countless new concerns, from the brand of milk supplied to the children to hiring new orphanage teachers. I had to handle everything myself, as a one-person operation. Thankfully, I had my secret weapon, Xiao. It could monitor the children to keep them from coming to harm. Otherwise, Even if I split into 3 people, I could not keep up. Our orphanage was not large. I had already hired cooks and cleaners, as well as doctors, nurses, and caregivers. But the academic teaching posts were far too important. I still had to arrange for classes to begin, so I needed people I could truly rely on. After several rounds of interviews, I finally found the person best suited to the job. Just by her appearance, she could have rivaled any celebrity. She was very young, with rosy lips, white teeth, and a gentle nature. A vivid red beauty mark rested at the corner of her eye. To be honest, I could tell she came from a well-off family, whether from her manner of speaking or her bearing. She seemed like a girl who had been cherished since childhood, yet her skin was slightly tanned, and her cheeks were flush red by the harsh Highland sun. "My name is Liu Ryan." The young woman's eyes shone like stars. "Hello, Director Lee." I held out my hand as well. "Hello, Ryan." Liu Ryan joining us gave me more time to focus on the children's schooling. Orphanages with the means set up their own classrooms. Those without usually enrolled their children as day students elsewhere. Considering several children's special needs, I decided to create different classes and teach them in separate groups. Once all the paperwork was complete, Liu Ryan and I hired another group of teachers. We formally began classes at the orphanage. There were not many children at the orphanage, so I created only one class. Its name was chosen by a vote. The children favored the name Green Shoots, and so Boai Orphanage's first class, the Green Shoots class, was born. I had always been especially experienced in this area. Liu Ryan had clearly done her homework too, so the classes went very smoothly. At the beginning of a child's education, the priority is not imparting knowledge, but building habits and shaping character. I started a storytelling class. Every day, I told them a story. In the world of fairy tales, the sky is always clear. Villains always lose. Princesses meet princes. Even the ugly duckling becomes a beautiful swan. Every little animal saved in passing returns the kindness. Of course, life is more than fairy tales. Perhaps they would understand when they grew up. That reality is not as they imagine, but I still hoped they would believe in fairy tales. After storytelling class, though, Liu Ryan would teach them safety lessons. Never mean others harm, but never let down your guard. I could teach them to treat the world kindly, but someone also needed to tell them that not everyone means well. They had to stay alert and learn to protect themselves. I appointed Qinghan class monitor of Green Shoots. The little girl found a sense of responsibility. Every day, she worked to keep the class harmonious. Most of the time, our little class monitor was full of fighting spirit, but sometimes she felt defeated. Like today. Director, Lu Heng cried today. She lay sadly across my lap. I heard him thinking, why do mommy and daddy not want me? Since coming to the orphanage, Lu Heng had become much more cheerful, but sometimes at dusk, he still cried in secret. Qinghan could not solve such pain for her friend. All she could do was ask me what to do. From what I had told her, her mother loved her very much. So, Qinghan could not understand why Lu Heng's parents would abandon their own child. I stroked Qinghan's head. Xiao, people are all different. Some parents do not love their children. Qinghan pressed her lips together. Then why did they have him? There could be many reasons. There is no way for us to know. But I need to tell you this. Lu Heng's parents committed a crime by abandoning him. There are many more children in this world who have been abandoned by their parents. Lu Heng has a friend like you worrying about him, but many other children do not even have a friend. Qinghan's dark, round eyes widened. Really? Yes. I made a suggestion to Qinghan. When you are both a little older, you and Lu Heng can protect children like him together. After listening earnestly, Qinghan stood up. Her little feet pattered as she ran outside. I am going to tell Lu Heng. Goodbye, Director. Smiling, I said. Go on. In the original novel, Lu Heng was fiercely protective. Most of the people under him were homeless street punks. Most of them had no parents. I did not believe that was a coincidence. Though in the photo from the original plot, the man with the birthmark on his face looked terrifying. His expression ice-cold, as if he had no feelings at all. But perhaps, in his childhood, he had once longed for this kind of protection. People say that some things we do as adults are ways of making up for what we lacked as children. I fell into thought. At least this time. I definitely could not let Lu Heng become a gang boss. In the first autumn after classes began, I announced some news. There will be no classes tomorrow. We are all going on an autumn outing. Previously, for easier management and for safety reasons, the children rarely went out, let alone went out together. The outing destination was chosen by vote again. The zoo won. I had contacted places such as science centers, museums, and botanical gardens. In the end, Nancheng Zoo in the next city was the best fit. When they heard orphanage children would be visiting, the zoo director generously waived the admission fees. He even offered to cover lunch at the zoo. We only had to pay for transportation there and back. I looked it up and found Nancheng Zoo was rather famous. The zoo had a wonderful environment, and its animals seemed remarkably intelligent. It had even worked with a well-known entertainment company on a reality show. That show was still hugely popular. Nancheng Zoo's director was famous too. First, because he was handsome. Second, because he had long devoted himself to ecological and animal conservation charities. Out of curiosity, Xiao Fu and I looked up a photo of the director. His face was impossibly young and strikingly handsome. Xiao Fu suddenly cried out, "I remember now." Remember what? I heard my friends talk about this before. The earliest colleagues who named themselves were not necessarily systems, nor were they as intelligent as us. Anyway, there was once a being called Xiaoling. It was more like a form of consciousness. It could communicate with every living thing. Then it chose a host from the G family. The G family gained the ability to communicate with animals. They also promised to protect the forest and animals forever. That was their promise to each other. I looked at the zoo director's name. So he is a descendant of the G family. Xiao Fu sounded delighted. "We have met a colleague." I smiled. "You will meet even more colleagues someday." The young woman who contacted me from Nancheng Zoo used the online name Xiao Wen. True to her name, her voice was soft and warm, patient and gentle. "Director Li, please rest assured. That day, our zoo will limit ticket sales, and we will arrange staff to accompany and guide you." Xiao Fu said. "She is Xiaoling's Oritu." Wait, that is not right. Why is there Xiaoxi's data stream as well? Who was Xiaoqi? Before I could ask, Xiao Fu vanished while talking to itself. I guessed it had gone to contact its friends. But since it was connected to those adorable systems, that was proof enough that Nancheng Zoo was the best choice. I replied to Xiao Wen. "Then we will leave it to you." Xiao Wen sent a smiling emoji. "You are welcome." The autumn outing plan made every child at the orphanage wildly excited. Every day, they chattered about the animals they wanted to see. Liu Ryan was worried. Again and again, she reminded them about safety. She also carefully designed green shoots handkerchiefs and outing flags for every child. The flags would be attached to their little backpacks. The handkerchiefs were a fresh spring green, tied around the children's wrist in little bows. They bore the contact information for several of us teachers. In case a child got lost and did not know how to return, I divided the 20-odd children into 4 groups. They chose their own group leaders. Each group had its own flag and was responsible for making sure no teammate fell behind. It was their first trip out. The little group leaders looked solemn. They promised me they would look after everyone. They looked both excited and nervous. I hired a coach bus. Amid the children's laughter and cheers, we set off at first light. Nancheng Zoo truly lived up to its reputation. Lush greenery stretched as far as the eye could see, brimming with life. Xiao Wen was a young woman with delicate features and doe-like eyes. She looked sweet and remarkably young. "Hello, Director Li." Everyone, dressed in her uniform, she greeted us. "I am your guide today, Wen Waxi." Liu Ryan seemed to remember something. She whispered in my ear, "Director, I have seen her on television before. She became hugely popular on that reality show." After greeting Wen Waxi, I curiously searched for her videos online. The first one I saw had an especially explosive title. "Watch a fierce woman tame a tiger with her bare hands." Xiao Wen. My expression froze. Looking as sweet and harmless as the girl next door, Wen Waxi led us into the zoo. Then, perfectly calm, she greeted the tiger beside us. "Fi," she told the snarling tiger. "Back up. Do not scare the children." The tiger seemed to understand her. It obediently backed away a few steps and sat down. The air fell silent for a moment. Then the children erupted into cheers and shrieks. Big sister Xiao Wen is amazing. And Ran took a step back, then looked up at me with sparkling eyes. He tugged at my sleeve and asked, "Director, the big tiger just roared twice. Does it really want to come out and play with us?" Qinghan was a girl of action. She curiously asked Wen Waxi. "Big sister Xiao Wen, what is Fi saying?" Wen Waxi suddenly looked awkward, but she kept the smile on her face. "It is hungry." Did it not eat breakfast?" "It did." Wen Waxi rubbed her forehead. "But it is hungry again." Qinghan looked confused. How could it be hungry again? Heng shared his opinion. "It eats so much." After our visit to the tiger enclosure, we visited the cranes, monkeys, and aviary. Nancheng Zoo prepared lunch for us. Beside the aquarium, they had set up picnic blankets on the lawn and little snacks. Swan Lake was right beside us. The children picnicked while watching the swans. Every one of them had a wonderful time. After lunch, we cleaned up the trash. Still wanting more, the children entered the aquarium. The zoo director allowed us to get up close with the dolphins and beluga whales. Qinghan's eyes sparkled. "Director, the dolphins are so cute." And Ran was thrilled too. "It is nudging my hand." Heng stood quietly to one side, watching the beluga in the water. The beluga named Little White obediently swam over. Its naturally upturned mouth made it look as if it were always smiling. Heng watched this smiling angel, then hesitantly held out his hand. Through the glass, Little White rubbed its snout against his hand. The usually quiet boy looked as though he had found the most precious treasure in the world. His lips parted slightly. After pressing his lips together for a long moment, he could not stop a smile from appearing. Xiaobai circled the glass several times, tilting its head. Heng tilted his head along with it, watching the boy and whale having so much fun together. I smiled. "Director, this is wonderful." Liu Ryan stood beside me. Softly, she said, I have never seen them this happy. For them, staying at the orphanage forever is not the best choice. I said, when they are a little older, we should send them out to school. But Liu Ryan clearly had reservations. Do not worry, I said without changing expression. We cannot shut out the malice that might wound them for their entire lives. But there are always other ways. Scars only hurt when you care about them. If you do not care, then we will be unbreakable. Once back at the orphanage, the children needed no prompting. They voluntarily wrote and submitted their weekly journals. Even in art class, they all drew the animals from the zoo. Seeing how much they missed the zoo, I simply downloaded Nancheng Zoo's reality show and played them an episode every weekend. It quickly became their favorite weekly activity. Sometimes, they even skipped their snacks to sit and eat rows in the activity room on weekends. After winter arrived, Liu Ryan and I bought the children new winter clothes. Liu Ryan said, "Director, we passed this year's annual review. New children will be coming next year, right? More than that. Next year, our orphanage will officially be eligible for adoptions." I let out a breath. There is no rush. We need to carefully assess the adoptive families. Liu Ryan nodded in agreement. Boai orphanage was not very large. Even if more children came in, there would probably be no more than a dozen. But that is all right. In a few years, once I secure more funding, we can expand. You take one bite at a time, and one step at a time. One hot pot. As we passed a richly fragrant hot pot restaurant, I asked. Liu Ryan paused. But we should be heading back. Let us improve the food tomorrow. We will have individual hot pots. I winked at her. Good things are meant to be shared. Liu Ryan looked at me. Her expression suddenly softened. Her eyes curved as she smiled. Director, sometimes I think you are a lot like someone I know. Though in some ways, you are not. She cupped her hands and gently breathed warmth into them. The first time I saw you, I was lost in a daze for a moment. Do you miss her? I asked. During the New Year holiday, you can go see her. I do miss her a little. Liu Ryan wrinkled her nose. But I would be too embarrassed to tell her that. I caught the implication. Is she family? She is my older sister. Like you, she is a teacher too. I was somewhat surprised, yet somehow not surprised at all. In a lifetime, everyone encounters one or two things that change them, or perhaps one or two people. The new year was approaching. A light snow fell in biking on New Year's Eve. I organized the children to build snowmen and have snowball fights. Everyone had a wonderful time. Only Qinghan sat silently on the steps, her chin resting in her hands as she watched the sky. I had bought them a winter set of 3 hats, scarves, and gloves. She wore a fluffy mitten, catching the snowflakes drifting down from the sky. I could roughly guess what she was thinking. I told her, the day you were born, it snowed. That was also the first time you saw your mother. She probably believed that every snowfall meant her mother had come back to see her. But she had not sat there long. Before Heng and Ran each grabbed one of her hands and pulled her away. Xiao, come draw in the snow. Heng and I have both finished. Only you are left. And Ran's little face was rosy from the cold, but he looked thrilled. I drew a little deer. Heng drew a little whale. What will you draw? Qinghan crouched down and began to draw. 10 minutes later, and Ran looked completely puzzled. What did you draw? A caterpillar. It looks like a branch. After studying it for ages, Heng gave his verdict. Qinghan, who had just been putting on a cool, serious face, instantly widened her eyes. It is not. It is a plum blossom. They are plum blossoms, blooming alone in the bitter cold. The children pulled me over to judge. Holding back a laugh, I said, it is indeed a plum blossom. Qinghan was speechless. Director, you clearly think my drawing looks like a ball of yarn with 2 chopsticks stuck in it. Oh dear, you caught me. All right. I patted Qinghan's head. How about the director helps you draw a plum blossom? The little girl, who had been sulking, immediately lit up with joy. After our snow activities ended, I hurried them indoors to wash their hands and faces with warm water so they would not catch cold. The orphanage was not lonely that New Year. Many people came to visit us. Liu Ryan did not leave either. When I asked her why, she only said this was her first New Year spent with Boai orphanage. She wanted to be with the children. We put up festive couplets, watched the New Year gala together, played games together, then made wishes together. I prepared a red envelope for every child. Inside were gifts and a personal message for each of them. At the same time, I received 27 notes, with their wishes written on them. They were still so young that once it was 9 o'clock, I urged them to get into bed. Then I returned to my office to deal with work. Near midnight, my shoulders and neck began to ache, just as I was about to rub them myself. A warm force soothed my muscles and bones, driving away my exhaustion. I paused. Xiao, host, it said. There are 5 minutes until the new year. Yes, time passes so quickly. I set down my pen and quietly watched the falling snow. Then I stood and went to the dormitory, tucking each of them carefully beneath their blankets. Happy New Year. Li Chuan. Happy New Year. Xiao. When Qinghan and Ran and Lu Heng turned 7. I enrolled them in the elementary school next door. Over those 2 years, the orphanage expanded once. New children arrived, and some children were adopted. The 3 of them were still the oldest children there. Qinghan and NGÓN were very popular. Many couples offered to adopt them. Some of those families were exceptionally well off, but neither of them wanted to leave. Qinghan said, I am still the Green Shoots class monitor. I cannot leave. And NGÓN said too, if I leave, what will Lu Heng and Xiao do? On the first day of school, when the 3 of them came out, I immediately noticed that NGÓN and Qinghan seemed off. Lu Heng, on the other hand, looked calm and well-behaved. He greeted me, Director. When they saw me waiting by the school gate, Qinghan and NGÓN froze. Then they hurried over. Director, why are you here? I could tell they were desperately hiding their feelings, so I did not press them. You are still little. Whenever I can, I will pick you up and drop you off. Director, you are the best. And NGÓN hugged my arm. Are we having cola chicken wings today? I took his little hand. It is a first day of school tradition. How could we not have it today? And NGÓN cheered, clutching his backpack straps, then threw his arms around me. Qinghan and Lu Heng followed behind him, watching me hopefully. What about sweet and sour ribs and crispy rice cake fish? With my free hand, I patted the 2 children's heads. How could I leave out your favorite dishes? Reserved as ever. Lu Heng gave a small smile, but Qinghan looked up, giving me a huge, radiant smile. Her bright expression was nothing like the photograph I remembered. I paused. A moment later, my lips curved in relief. No matter what, she was changing for the better. That was what I had hoped for. After finishing work that evening, I was considering asking Lu Heng what had happened that day. As I left my office, I heard voices from the back garden. I headed toward the garden and saw the 3 children sitting in a row beside the slide. And NGÓN and Qinghan both looked dejected. Only Lu Heng was comforting them. It is okay. But they all said. And NGÓN protested indignantly. I heard them all. No one at our orphanage says that about you. Qinghan said, everyone thinks the marks on your face are cool. That is because. Lu Heng seemed upset too. Because of what? And NGÓN asked. Qinghan raised her head. Do not rush. Take your time. Xiao, you were the one who told me that the director told you. Everyone is different. Lu Heng fell silent for a moment. Then, resting his small face in his hands, he said solemnly, some mothers do not love their children. So some children think the marks on my face are cool, while others think they are strange and scary. It is all the same. And NGÓN said, I was afraid you would be sad, afraid you would cry in secret. I will not anymore. Lu Heng shook his head. Do you remember? Last winter, the director had us paint together. Qinghan asked, was that when we painted our faces? The director said, we could paint princesses, princes, knights, or little devils. Then she painted a mask on my face and said I was Kamen Rider now. That is right. You were so popular that day. Everyone wanted to play only with you. And NGÓN said, Lu Heng, you were so cool that day. But I knew. The director wanted to tell me that it was okay. Lu Heng said, I used to think I was ugly, but the director told me I am the coolest child. After that, I never thought I was ugly again. Lu Heng was the oldest. His words left NGÓN and Qinghan only half understanding. So it is okay. It is okay if other children call me ugly. Lu Heng looked from one side to the other. Besides, I have you too. You will help me explain it to them. The director is my favorite person. You to tie for 2nd place. Me too. Hey, me too. The director is my favorite. And then it is you too. I stood behind the wall, listening to innocent little voices. For a moment, I was lost in thought, then smiled. After the 3 children hooked their pinkies and promised to be best friends forever, I finally gave a light cough. Then I walked into the garden. Director, the children I had caught sneaking out, stood at attention in panic, their heads hanging obediently. But I did not scold them. I simply took them back to their dormitory. Before sending them inside, I crouched down and said patiently, no matter what happens, you can tell me. You can try to solve things yourselves. But if you cannot solve them, the director will always help you. Seeing that I did not scold them for staying up and sneaking into the garden to play, Qinghan's tense little face relaxed. She was the first to answer, okay. Li Chuan, the female lead's affection level is maxed out. Xiao Fu suddenly grew excited. The mission is complete. Just then, Qinghan asked softly, Director, what does winning someone over mean? I froze. I had nearly forgotten that Xiao could read minds. One day, she would learn why I had come into her life. And one day, she would learn that from the very beginning, I had been given a mission to win her over. But it was okay. My expression softened. It means I want you to feel the care and love in this world. What I want to teach you is the countless forms love can take. It is what children like you and countless children in orphanages have been denied. I want to tell you that spring will come. Even you, abandoned in some forgotten corner of the world, have the right to enjoy sunlight, rain, and a gentle breeze. Birds will perch by your window and sing for you. You will find your own happiness and a bright, beautiful future. Spring has entrusted me with a letter to bring you countless fairy tales from this world. Xiao, I hope you grow up safe and healthy. That has nothing to do with my mission. It is simply because you are like the countless children I once cared for. In your eyes, I saw traces of starlight. This time, I no longer have only one piece of candy. I want to be the one who makes the candy. One day, I will let children like you all know what stars taste like. Qinghan only half understood, but she still reached out and hugged me. I love you too. Director. I patted the little girl's head. That is all right. You already understand what love means. Once you know love has countless forms, you will not casually trample anyone's love. And Ran and Lu Heng gently hugged me too. I love you too. Director. Our voices carried into the dormitory. Pairs of eyes opened in the darkness. Liu Ryan, just about to leave, was tugged back by a little hand. I like the director. The little girl said softly. But I like Ms. Liu too. I like the director and Ms. Liu too. There are so many people I like. Annie Liu, who cooks for us, and Grandpa Chen at the gate. I also like Big Sister Xiao, who visits us every month, and Big Sister Xiao, who brought us clothes last time. Liu Ryan, who had just settled the children to sleep, was embraced by a crowd of them. She looked toward the figure by the door, equally tightly held. Then she smiled, helpless yet tender. After we finally settled the chattering children, still declaring their love, back to sleep, Liu Ryan and I closed the dormitory door. The moonlight outside was perfect, clear and bright as it spilled across the ground, like scattered jade beads. It was another new year. It seemed to snow every winter in biking. I leaned by the window, watching the children play and chase each other in the snow. This year, they had a new activity. They were going to study snowflake shapes with their science teacher. Liu Ryan came lightly to my side. Your leave has been approved. Go home. Before even looking up, I said, Ryan, you have not been home in so long. No need. Liu Ryan shook her head. There was obvious delight in her eyes. Director, on the third day of Lunar New Year, my sister is bringing her students to visit us. They are coming to volunteer at the orphanage. Her students? I was somewhat taken aback. How old are they? They were the first class my sister taught. They have all graduated now. Liu Ryan's eyes curved into crescents. Do not worry, Director. It will all be done properly. And my sister is a wonderful person. Liu Ryan, ever devoted to her sister, chatted on and on. I smiled without speaking, and merely nodded. It seemed the orphanage would be lively again this year. On New Year's Eve, as usual, I coaxed a group of children to bed, then sat alone in my office. Xiao silently gave me a massage, like chatting with an old friend. I casually asked, Xiao, when are you leaving? Ever since I bonded with it, it had told me that once I completed my mission, it would have to find its next host. Systems have performance targets too. Xiao had once aspired to be the ultimate overachiever. When it saw my rapid progress, it had been thrilled. But for some reason, once Xiaohan's affection for me reached 100, Xiao was happy for only a moment. After that, it never mentioned leaving again, and stayed with me until now. But this time, Xiao did not fall silent as usual, or say, maybe after a while. Instead, it gently landed in my palm. It rarely appeared before me in this form, a soft, squishy ball of light that glowed faintly. Li Chuan, Xiao, usually so tongue-tied, stammered for a long time, before finally managing a full sentence. I do not want to leave. I was surprised, yet somehow not surprised at all. Why? Because I have my own name. It said, my name is Xiao. I want to work with you, to make Buai Orphanage the very best it can be. For a long time, I said nothing. It seemed to grow uneasy. Do you not want that? Do you not want me to stay with you? Of course I do. This time, I answered quickly. I just cannot describe how I feel right now. I cannot describe it either. It sounded very happy. It seems that, like my friends, I have something I want to do too. I have my own name, and the very best host. They are all happy for me. I am happy for you too. I stroked the tiny ball of light in my hand. If this is what you want in the new year, let us keep working hard together. Snowflakes drifted outside the window, but inside, it was warm as spring. As usual, I left the office to tuck the dormitory children beneath their blankets. But the moment I opened the door, I froze. At the office door hung a glass jar decorated with starlights. Inside were card after card. I reached up and took down the jar. On the largest card was handwriting I knew well. Some words were even written in pinyin, but every stroke was painstakingly written. All the children in Greenshoot's class came up with this idea together. But your door is too high, so we had to ask Ms. Liu to hang it up. We have noticed that you really like stars, Director. Lu Heng said you look at the sky too, and Ran said you were looking at the moon. But I think you are looking at the stars. There were no moonlights, only starlights. But Ran said she drew you a moon. Every year, Director, you celebrate each of our birthdays, but none of us knew when your birthday was. So, we asked Ms. Liu, and learned your birthday is the day spring arrives. But we all have to sleep, so we cannot wish you happy birthday tonight. We are good children. We listen. Director, Happy New Year and Happy Birthday. We all wrote you secret messages. You have to hide somewhere and read them by yourself. From all the children in Greenshoot's class, Qinghan and Ran, Lu Heng, and Wu Yao. Every child's signature was neatly written on the card. Not one missing, not one extra. The director told me that the day I met my mother, it snowed. It was winter. I do not know what day I met the director, but I think it was spring. Spring is when everything comes back to life. It is the most beautiful season in fairy tales, and the season when I met the director. I am giving the director the first letter of spring because I love the director most. Qinghan. Fireworks went off somewhere. Brilliant flowers suddenly blossomed across the sky. Happy New Year. Happy birthday. Holding the jar of stars, I murmured as I read this letter from spring. Once, Xiao asked me, what would happen if Qinghan learned I had come to win her over? What would happen then? I thought about it then, and told it. It is okay. Just as I told Qinghan, it is okay. Love is neither noble nor lowly. It is true or false. There are many kinds of love in this world. Conditional and unconditional. False and true. Disguised and honest. Unrecognized. And even love whose insincere beginning is plain to see, yet ends in wholehearted sincerity. The end